Um, what is up, team? All right, this week's coaching Q&A, we've got two topics, and the first one is going to be how we tend to manage acute but not serious or traumatic injuries. And for a lot of you, it's stuff that pops up that's actually secondary to what we're working on. So let's say our priority is your shoulder or your knee or your back or something like that, like a specific part that we started working together for, but something else pops up. And how do we manage that? Well, for a lot of things that pop up, we tend to think, oh, I must need to do something for this. I must need to do something more for this. But a lot of times, you guys are already training really hard. So you're already doing a lot. And just because we call an exercise a rehab exercise or consider it a rehab exercise doesn't mean that it's actually doing anything like magically special from a rehab standpoint. It's still just more things. So for example, if you're if you're a power lifter and you're training really hard and you're benching 3 times a week and your shoulder is starting to give you problems during bench, say the front of your shoulder hurts during bench and you say, oh, can we add, you message me and you say, oh, can we add something in for my shoulder? It's starting to bug me during bench. Well, the shoulder bugging you during bench is potentially an indication that we're not tolerating the current training volume. So why would we do more things, more load? And if I gave you something that wasn't even enough to create more mechanical load on the area, what would it be doing anyway? So it's more of, well, how could we address this? And the principle of addition by subtraction is often the most simple and cost effective and efficient solution. So instead of adding more, we could actually just pull back a little bit, especially when things are acute. When they first come on, they're also likely to go away if we let them. So the first order of business there would not give you more exercises, but it would be to just tone down the bench volume or intensity. This is where we could dig into, well, does it happen at a certain load threshold or does it happen at a certain volume? Does it happen on one of the particular days that's higher volume or higher load? We can start to kind of like cap those days and constrain some of that load a little bit. Not take bench out completely, maybe go down to 2 days instead of three, but there's lots of variables that we can play around with. So we can talk about that. But that's the addition by subtraction as opposed to adding more on the top end. Now, when we do add things that we would think would be of benefit, it's to address potentially some bucket of need that we think you're not getting. And also, if you've dealt with something chronically and you've detrained over time and your training volume and your fitness for whatever your desired activity has gone down over a longer period of time, that's when its addition is beneficial, because we want to try to get that momentum back in the positive direction. But more, especially when it's just some new thing that's just popped up, more is often not better. It's just more, and more was potentially the problem in the first place. So that's just the easiest solution. And I know sometimes that's counterintuitive for us, especially as athletes, because we want to do more, and we think that more is better, but not always. So just keep that in mind. Oftentimes when we have to pull back, it's temporary. Whatever the thing is goes away, and then we can start to turn up the volume back to normalcy. And obviously, if I think I'm not going to just, write everything off, oh, we'll just do less. If I think there's some pattern that's accruing, like this is becoming a problem more and more often, or are we missing something, then we can talk about additions or modifications. But we just keep the most simple solution in this case, is often the best one. And so just keep that in mind. Addition by subtraction is often going to be my what I throw at you as an option.